Hello, viewers. Welcome to AP's 5-minute ophthalmology Pearls. Watch, understand, and remember anything in ophthalmology in under 5 minutes. Today, we will talk about iris bombay. Iris bombay is defined as the bowing forward of the iris due to buildup of aqueous humor in the posterior chamber as a result of pupillary block. In the normal eye, aqueous that is produced in the ciliary body is secreted into the posterior chamber and then flows via the pupil into the anterior chamber and then exits the eye via the trabecular meshwork at the angle of the anterior chamber. Let us understand the mechanism of iris bombay from what happens in primary angle closure disease. Here the anterior chamber is shallow because of a small hypermetropic eye. When the pupil is in a mid-dilated state, either from physiological or pharmacological dilatation, there is a maximum contact between the iris and the lens, resulting in an obstruction of aqueous from entering the anterior chamber and thus accumulates in the posterior chamber. This pushes the iris forward and creates the iris bombay. The peripheral iris now closes off the angle of the anterior chamber and thus prevents the aqueous from reaching the trabecular meshwork. Accumulation of the aqueous results in a rise of intraocular pressure, thus causing an acute angle closure. So, the basic etiology of iris bombay is pupillary block. Causes of iris bombay other than primary angle closure cause secondary angle closure. In phacomorphic glaucoma, the lens is intumescent or swollen, resulting in a shallow anterior chamber, and the rest of the mechanism is similar to that of primary angle closure. After control of intraocular pressure, lens extraction is the definitive treatment. Seclusio pupillae, which is 360-degree annular posterior synechiae, causes an absolute pupillary block and an iris bombay. Crystalline lens displacements can occur following trauma, pseudoexfoliation, or microspherophakia or any other cause of ectopia lentis. There may be an anterior subluxation producing a pupillary block, or the lens may get dislocated and in the process get trapped in the pupil, or may dislocate entirely into the anterior chamber. A pseudophakic pupillary block can occur either from a secluded pupil following inflammation after cataract surgery, optic capture of the IOL in the pupil, pupillary block by anterior chamber lenses, angle supported lenses or iris claw lenses, or by anterior or posterior phakic IOLs. In aphakia, pupillary block can occur because of apposition of the intact anterior vitreous face to the pupillary margin or formation of seclusio pupillae with 360-degree posterior synechiae to the anterior vitreous face. Nd:YAG laser capsulotomy can sometimes cause vitreous to come forward and cause a pupillary block. An air bubble left in the anterior chamber following cataract surgery, Descemet's stripping endothelial keratoplasty or Descemet's membrane endothelial keratoplasty, or intraocular gas following vitreoretinal procedures can also block the pupil. Silicone oil that is used in vitreoretinal procedures can block the pupil. This is more common, though not exclusive, to aphakic and pseudophakic eyes. Prophylactic inferior iridectomy prevents pupillary block in these eyes. Some additional causes for postgraduate residents. Cicatricial stage of ROP can cause a crowding of the angle and lead to pupillary block. Following laser photocoagulation in ROP, large blood clot in a hyphema, and vascular ingrowth of the tunica vasculosa lentis through the posterior capsule. Symptoms: an acute rise of intraocular pressure causes a rapid onset of pain and redness in the eye. Corneal haze, funnel-shaped anterior chamber, and a closed angle on gonioscopy, that is if you are able to visualize it, in addition to a raised IOP, are the key signs. Other signs of course will depend on the individual case. If not treated, prolonged contact of the iris to the cornea encourages the formation of peripheral anterior synechiae, which, if extensive, will result in a rise of IOP that is not amenable to iridotomy. And untreated glaucoma can ultimately result in glaucomatous optic atrophy and permanent blindness. So, treatment involves an initial attempt to lower the IOP medically, followed by either a laser iridotomy or surgical iridectomy, depending on the case. If not resolving, then further interventions including vitreoretinal procedures or a trabeculectomy may be indicated depending on the case. Prevention involves a laser iridotomy in patients with occludable angles, adequate control of ocular inflammation with steroids and cycloplegics, and prophylactic iridotomies when procedures that have a high risk of pupillary block are undertaken. So that's it for today. If you like what you saw, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update from AP's 5-Minute Ophthalmology Pulse. You may watch my other videos by clicking on the thumbnails. Please leave a note in the comment section if you wish for any particular topic to be covered in future. Look forward to weekly updates. Thank you for watching.